been almost 2 weeks since we got the teaser for the next No Man's Sky update, Cosmos. I actually think the update could come out relatively quickly. I think in my last video, my short video about the announcement, I said it was going to come out in a couple of weeks, and we are reaching that point. I think it could be, well, this Wednesday, 26th, at around 2 PM. I still think we're going to get the emoji from Sean Murray, and that's going to come out on Sunday or Monday. And then we're going to get the sale, and that is going to start on Monday, going all the way through to the next week. However, I'm usually wrong, so it could come out any time after that as well. We'll just have to wait and see. Do not destroy me down in the comments for putting my head on the block. While I've been waiting patiently for the update to drop, I have been considering what I'd like for my No Man's Sky Cosmos wish list. And this wish list is 10 things I'd like to see in the new update, or any update for that matter. Doesn't have to be Cosmos. If it comes in the future, that would be great as well. But just before we get into the not exhaustive list, YouTube is telling me that most of you who regularly watch my videos are not subscribed. So if you do watch regularly and you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It really does help the channel grow. It really does help me out. Thank you very much. So let's get into it. Number 1. Updated galaxy map. Galaxy map is a bit clunky, and the information on it is certainly not easy for new players. I think there needs to be a change to the information and the UI on the galaxy map. Get rid of the numbers and letters system and make it a bit more easier to follow. I still think you need to get the upgrades to see that information, whether that's in your Starship or freighter. I just think the information on that little panel that comes across when you hover over a star needs to be a bit different, a bit clearer, a bit more open, just different. And the navigation is a bit clunky, not really that easy to use, especially if you're on a controller. So maybe they could do something there to optimize the flow of how you go about navigating the map in general. And this could come along with number 2 on this list, which is changes to how systems work in general. If you hover into the galaxy map, you'll see that you have yellow, red, green, blue, and purple star systems. I think that perhaps we should lose the color system entirely. And instead of the color system, we could have something more akin to real star types in real life, but still have that sci-fi edge. I don't think we should lose that entirely. And these different systems could have gas giants, which at the moment you can only find in purple systems, but with the different types of star, maybe gas giants or other planet types could find themselves in varying star systems rather than just in the one color type. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to see gas giants until you've completed the missions that allow you to unlock them. Stellar multitudes, I believe it is. But they could just hide them in general until you unlock them. So changing the color types shouldn't be that difficult. Number 3 on this list is player-owned space stations and space station bases. I would really like to see us be able to actually claim a space station. Maybe it could just be an abandoned one, but I'd actually like to see the fully NPC'd space stations be able to be claimed and build a base in them. Maybe the bases will be off to the side like they are in the freighters. Way back when, in the old space stations, you had rooms off either ends that you could go into. You didn't have any of the NPCs out the front like they are now. And maybe they could bring those back, and then you could go in after you've claimed your space station and build a base in there. I would really like to see the players be able to build a base in the actual center of the space station itself, but I don't know how that would work in terms of mechanics or base build size of each part, if you get what I mean. So having them off to the sides in those little rooms, like they do on freighters, might be the only way they'd be able to do it. Maybe this could be based on rank with a certain race. If you have a highest rank with, say, the Korvax, and you go into a Korvax system, then you can claim that space station, but only one space station. You can't claim 10, for example. Should be limited, I believe, to just the one. And of course, I think there should be a late game achievement, not something you can achieve straight away. I think you'd have to go through the whole of the missions and things first. But if you are able to turn those missions off, then maybe you get it in some other way. That's why I think the highest rank with a race might be the way to go. And if you get highest rank with outlaws, you can build one in an outlaw station, especially when you're doing the outlaw playthrough. I think that would be really cool. That leads me nicely on to number 4, which is player bases in space itself. I think this might be the likeliest one on this list. I don't know. Let me know what you think. But I think being able to actually build a base in space itself would be fantastic. You could introduce a load of new base parts, mix in some old ones in there as well to be able to build actually floating in space. And maybe it could be, if they change the orbits in the systems as well, it could be orbiting a planet. That would be really cool. Imagine orbiting a gas giant system that has the 5 moons and your base is orbiting the gas giant. I really like that idea. I also think that for this space base, you could introduce a Corvette landing pad quite easily. And obviously, if you do that in space stations, as in the last one, you'd have a Corvette landing station right there straight away. So I think that would be something that they could introduce quite easily with a space player base. That makes sense. And yes, I know that you can have a base in your freighter, but this is something completely different. This is actually in space itself. It's not in a room off a space station or off a freighter. It's as if you're building on a planet, but you're building in space. Have a sip of tea. Number 5 on this list, which does kind of integrate into the player bases in space, is asteroid mining. I really think this is something that could come with Cosmos, but you know, who knows? If you could have a player base, maybe you could mine asteroids as well, and not just shoot at them with your Starship like you do at the moment to get various resources. The asteroid mining could be part of the progression through a certain set of missions or tasks where you are building out your space base and you have to do asteroid mining as part of those missions. And when you do asteroid mining, maybe you get only certain resources. Yes, you can get tritium, but you get those by shooting asteroids, gold, silver, platinum. Perhaps they can be part of the asteroid mining system. And of course, I think it should be automated. We have automated miners at the moment. To be honest, I don't use those very much, so maybe it's a way of getting those into the players' minds a bit more, sending them out onto big asteroids to mine those and get the precious resources. And this should be mid-game progression. Next up, we're going on a bit of a different track here, and this is true freighter customization, or at least some sort of new procedural generation with freighters. Just like the Corvette customization at the moment, I would love to be able to build a freighter the same way you build a Corvette. It might be a little bit too much to ask with the size, but maybe it's something they can introduce. At the moment though, I like the aesthetics of the outside of the freighters, but inside it's just all the same. Perhaps they could change that, whether it's a Gek, Korvax, Viking freighter, they could change the internal aesthetic to match that race rather than just having the same thing. Or they could add different freighter base parts to the freighter base, and that way you could change the aesthetics yourself in the bridge itself. Not controlling everything that's going on there, but just changing the aesthetic parts. I think at least that would be a real jump up from where we currently are with freighters. And last thing on freighters here, I think that they should actually be active during freighter battles, like they are when you fight them with the laser cannons and beams and whatnot. I think that if you are in a freighter battle, let's say you're a pirate, you've got a pirate dreadnought freighter, you go into that system, you're fighting a standard freighter, a cargo freighter, it should shoot those beams at it and try and bring those shields down. Having those active in the space battles would be fantastic. And it would also heighten space battle combat a bit, which we might come on to a bit later. Carrying on with the customization theme here, I would like to see true Starship customization. So at the moment, when you customize a Starship, you go to the space station and you scrap your Starship for parts, and you get those different parts and you can put those different parts together. It's not the same as Corvette customization is at the moment. And I think that if you could do that and bring that in for Starships, I think that would be great. It would be a game changer. People would have more customization for Starships. They'll be able to put their own signature style on them. And I think that would be really cool. Imagine having some exotic parts with some hauler parts or whatever it may be. Although at the moment you can't customize exotic ships at all, maybe they could be introduced as part of that. Or at the very least, when it comes to Starships, they could add some new variant types. Yes, we have the shuttle, hauler, fighter, solar and exotic as the standard Starships, not counting the expedition reward Starships. If they could bring in some new types, I think that would be great as well, just to give us a bit more of an option in terms of which ones we want to use. I personally love the exotic starships. I think they are fantastic and I use them all the time. Continuing with the customization theme, let's be honest about this one. The color system in No Man's Sky sucks. It is absolutely terrible. Why they can't just give us complete full customization of color via a color wheel or something, or selecting different colors, maybe some gradients, anything like that, I do not know. At the moment, you are stuck in choosing specific colors. I especially get frustrated with this with the Corvettes because you're kind of stuck choosing a color scheme, and I don't want to do that. I want my own colors on my own things for my own customizable Corvette. And I know it sounds like, well, they've given you customizable Corvettes. What more do you want? But I just want to be able to choose the colors that I want to choose. And I think they could do this across the entire game. And that way, you'll see a lot more variation with players, especially in multiplayer when you're hanging around the anomaly. And I think it would just give the player base a bit more freedom. Definitely do that, No Man's Sky. Please sort out the color system. Number 9 on this list is an option to actually turn off all missions completely. Yes, when you go into a custom save, you can turn off the tutorial missions, I want an option that actually turns them off completely, because even if you hit that button, you're still going to go through the Artemis stuff. You're still going to go through all of that mission stuff that you have to go through at the start. As a veteran player, it does frustrate me, and it also frustrates me that it's down in the right-hand corner, just kind of popping up, telling you to do things all the time. I think that if we could have an option to get rid of all of that, that would be great. It would also help when you're playing those outlaw playthroughs or no Starship playthroughs and things like that. Getting rid of that off the bottom, getting rid of those missions entirely would be great for me personally as a veteran player. Last but not least on this list, we have improved combat. Now, the combat in No Man's Sky isn't the best, but to be honest with you, it's not really supposed to be. And when I say combat, I don't mean an FPS style game. It should just be enough that it feels like you're in combat. At the moment, I don't really get that feeling. I think the space battles are better than the ground fights against the Sentinels, because you're sort of flying through. It feels more dynamic. But when you're on the ground and you've got combat happening with Sentinels, it doesn't kind of feel dynamic at all. Especially when you're fighting things like the Broodmother, it just kind of stands there and looks menacing. Why isn't it attacking you? Why isn't it jumping at you? Why isn't it running at you? I think if they just added those kinds of things, those basic mechanisms for combat, I think it would change the game entirely. And look, there are many other things I'd like to see added, including improved multiplayer for those players struggling with multiplayer out there. But these are just 10 things I've personally been thinking about that could be introduced as part of the Cosmos update. Who knows what's going to be introduced? It could be completely off the mark here, but I'd really like to see at least some of them. Let me know what you think would be good to add from this list and what wouldn't be good as well. And let me know what you would like to see added if there are things that are completely different. Watch this space for the next No Man's Sky update. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video. I love a cup of tea.